Hello, and welcome, guys, to the IMBA Cup 2 with me, your host, Guile, and this will be the equivalent of a quarter-final match between Tag Rock and Nefarious. These guys doing very well. We've seen a few of these matches already cast by TA for Life over on his channel, these point-of-reach matches. Not a huge personal favourite map of mine, but nevertheless, it's provided a few interesting matches so far. Typically it's a 3v3, obviously. You can see the setups down here, 3v3 or 2v2 depending on how you want to play it. Sort of one team sticks down here, one team sticks up here. It's not as interesting personally, I don't think, as something like Crossfire Canal, where it's a lot more close-knit. This is a 20 by 20 map, so it's a pretty significant difference distance between the players. Tagrock asking there, is this casted? Yes, it is. I don't know if it was casted at the time, if it was live casted, but it's certainly being casted now. Which brings me on to, by the way, guys, if you haven't done so already, do feel free to check out the Twitch TV channel that Zep set up for Forged Alliance Forever. Just type in Forged Alliance Forever into the search bar on Twitch TV, and you will get to see the channel. It's not always up and running. It depends who's online. Some people cast some other people's games. Other people just stream to it as they play. So it's an interesting place actually to watch. If you watch it when some of these guys, the more professional style guys, are playing, you can actually learn a hell of a lot just by watching them play, rather than just having someone like me prattle on about this all in the background. So yeah, do go over there and check this out. I know some of these guys do stream to their own channels as well, so look out for those. But yeah, I won't say I'll be too glad to see the back of this map, but it's definitely not one of my favorites. Rock saying no bomber A. Obviously the early bomber, there's been so much controversy recently about the whole bomber opening, and I don't know whether Nefarious has been doing that a lot in the earlier matches, but certainly he expected it. He's gone straight for an early air factory and has managed to get an inti out in the 3-minute mark, whereas Nefarious was a little later. He obviously hasn't gone for this bomber opening, so he went straight for land factory, then the air factory, and it's an interesting little configuration of T1 power plants here. It's kind of pretty, like a chessboard, but it's not sure that's the most effective way in terms of, I suppose it spreads it out a bit, but it doesn't offer 100%. I'm sure if a bomb came in from this direction, it might be able to take out some of the adjoining joined power plants, but maybe I'm wrong. I'm sure Nefarious knows his game a hell of a lot better than I do, judging by how he's been playing. I'm still not 100% sure if anyone's figured out who he is, but he hasn't managed to come up against himself, obviously, in any rounds yet, because he's still in it. So there has been speculation, but like I say, I've been away, so I don't know if that has been already covered. Everyone's probably bored to death of it by now. But drops coming out to grab some of these side islands. You've got NGs and Mantis on that one, so he's going to drop the 2 engineers off, and he's going to carry on with the Mantis. I like that, to try and harass this island. It's only got 1 engineer on it. Meanwhile, Nefarious has dropped 4 engineers on this side and is going for an immediate aggressive full base spam. He's probably going to spam some mobile light artillery and send it off down here. It's a favourite thing to do for Seraphin. Incredibly infuriating if you're coming up against it. And he's going to drop off 1 Mantis. I suppose if he's got... Oh no, there we go. So he's going to drop them off, send them off in different directions, and that's going to go take out that little engineer. So that hampers Nefarious' construction a little bit on that side island. He's made a grab for this top one, but he's decided to take it in there. Meanwhile, it looks like a Jester. That is a Jester coming out for Rock, and that's going to... as long as he doesn't get shot down by any inties, it's going to deny this island and slow Nefarious' start. So Nefarious being quite aggressive, but there's always a problem with that on this kind of islands. There's so much space for people to expand to. There's never any, or so many different islands, there's never a definitive way with a small sort of targeted rush like this early on that you're definitely going to cripple someone's production capabilities. But that engineer has gone down to that Jester. Nefarious has dispatched 1 inti, but it's going to run into 3 more intis of Rock and probably get blown down out of the sky. There it goes, but there are 4 more coming in, so a little air fracas going on there on top. Meanwhile, you've got a whole bunch of these light artillery now pouring onto the main island of Rock. He's trying to combat that with Mantis, which shouldn't have any problem whatsoever in dispatching those. And he has Rock now managed to get out a frigate, so that should cause some headaches for these mobile artillery that are trying to traverse this little kind of canal here. Rock airlifting more units down to the bottom here. Sure, if that's exactly necessary, he's putting it on some kind of automated route. But Rock now got his commander over here, and he's trying to finish this off once and for all. Definitely doesn't want to leave this up for too long, let this get established when it's so close to his main base. Frigate goes down. A little bit of lack of micro there from Rock, but you do see that on these larger maps, and when there's so many different islands, there's so much going on, players' attention just can't be everywhere, and the micro sometimes does suffer. Rock unable to finish that off as yet, still the artillery pouring in, but he's elected to go forward now. Definitely needs to do something about this point defense. It's the first order of business, but it's got anything to do that with at the moment. His head's still poking out of the water, so I thought that was vulnerable, but apparently not. Or was that too close? Yeah, it's probably too close to fire. So Mantis coming in, still unable to do anything about this. But meanwhile, up here, Nefarious has got 3 shipyards out, so Rock looks like he's a little bit behind. I can't see any other shipyards other than that. No, that's the only one. So he's a little bit behind on the naval race, and if for no other reason than a distracting technique, this is working quite nicely for Nefarious, because Rock's attention is obviously firmly fixed on this side of things. He's getting out another frigate now, but still just the one shipyard, it looks like. Meanwhile, these are pumping out subs, so if this continues as it looks like it's going to, Rock is going to find himself outdone on the naval front. He is. Maybe it does look like he's going to manage to take out this base. He's got enough units there now. Tech 2 torpedo bombers in the air, so sensing the issues with the Navy already. He's trying to counter it by switching to air, and he's certainly got a lot of inties, so at the moment it looks like Rock has air superiority, but that third factory for Nefarious has been upgraded to Tech 2, and as long as he's got the economy to build with it, that is going to be a real problem for Rock, who doesn't have control of this island yet, doesn't have any control up here. Looked like he was trying to do something sneaky, get a factory up on the left-hand side, but that hasn't worked for him either. So at the moment, things not going terrifically for Rock. He's finally managing to dispatch this little mini base that was set up, but at pretty horrendous cost, I'd say. Subs now coming around the side of or the top of this bottom island that he's set his main base up on, and that submarine will go down for Rock, which is really, if more units can get around the side, he can take out, Nefarious can take out this shipyard, and that will leave Rock in a very, very sticky situation. Rock now doing some scouting with his interceptors, making sure this island, or what the situation is the island, and now he's going on a little bit of the offensive, and I do like this. He's got air superiority, so he's got some jesters coming out. He's going to harass these mass points, meanwhile at the same time bringing in a little Mantis drop at the southern part of the island, so very, very nice little play there from Rock. Trouble is, he now has destroyers heading for his home base, and that is a serious, serious problem. He's done another little drop down here. He's just going to win out on that one. Not enough tanks there for Nefarious, but he does have a few factories there to contend with. So if this is allowed to continue, this build-up in the middle, he's now got a cruiser as well, so that effectively removes any air advantage that Rock has had, although it's not even that big now. You can see the amount of inties that Nefarious has managed to spam up. But any air advantage Nefarious did have, he's not going to be able to use it against the navies, because that cruiser will decimate any of the T1 interceptors that come for it. Jesters included. This air factory is now at Tech 2. You can just see Inti's just getting absolutely blasted out of the sky there. And that is going to hand the air advantage straight back over to Nefarious. But on the plus side, Rock has managed to neutralize this island. He's prevented this, he's neutralized this. So in terms of overall map control, he's got 2 mass points down here. There's one lone engineer for Nefarious just wandering around, but 2 more coming in to assume control of this. So in terms of overall map control on the actual areas of mass and land, Rock isn't doing too badly, but that's the thing. On a large map, it's not just about having enough mass. You can see he's actually well ahead in the mass game. He's on 106 plus 116 mass. Nefarious is on 77, so he's pretty significantly ahead of it. But if you haven't got the build power or the infrastructure to produce anything with that bonus, then it might as well not be there. And of course, Seraphim cruisers so powerful, so dangerous. Their attack missiles do even more damage than that of the Governor. TA for Life and I have a little bit of a difference of opinion over which is better, the Seraphim cruiser or the UEF. He likes the UEF, but I just think the Seraphim cruiser is so powerful, so much damage, and also its anti-air is just lethal, absolutely lethal. But this has been made to Tech 2 now, and he's been trying to spam out subs with it, but there go all of the engineers that were assisting it. That is now looking exceptionally vulnerable. He has got 1 T2 submarine killer out, 1 T1 sub, another T2 one just finished, but destroyers out on the field along with subs. They won't last long at all, so things not looking great for Rock at the moment. You can see he started another naval factory over here on the right hand side, anticipating that these shipyards will come under fire and probably not live to see much more of the game. Now Rock's main base is coming under fire, very nicely and hastily spanned up tactical missile defense from Rock, trying to defend his base from the inevitable torrent of tactical missiles that will come off those cruisers. Rock not happy with the way he played T2, C2 late, and honestly I think I agree with him, and I think it's just because of this little harassment maneuver that Nefarious played early on. Wasn't ever really a game changer or a game ender in itself, for anything other than taking Rock's attention away from macro and causing him general headaches. You see now T2 mass points coming under fire from Nefarious' destroyers. Rock definitely doesn't want to lose this T2 power plant, but manages to get a shield up just in time. He needs to get some more tactical missile defense up, but that shield is going to collapse under the weight of all those missiles. The tactical missile defense, I think, has got up just in time, and that should at least give him some reprieve for now while he works out how to best to deal with it. Over here, Rock has started another naval factory, so he can sense that he needs to get, and I like that, he needs to get more naval production out of the way, away from this main base. And that's what you can do with a large map like this. You've got so many little pockets of strength on these different islands, you know, not to be afraid of moving out and shifting your base of operations. It's also very frustrating for your opponent when they think they've taken out one base and you see another one's gone up. And in terms of economy, Rock is probably still ahead. Yeah, so Nefarious is sitting on a plus 100 mass and Rock is sitting on 170, but he's had his commander caught in the water on an upgrade, and that is what that lull refers to, I imagine. Just get rid of that menu bar. That's for you, TA, that's for you, buddy. But still suffering lots of damage from torpedoes, but wisely elected to bring in torpedo bombers, Rock, now to try and save that. It's about the only thing he can do, and Inti's coming in now to try and deal with it, but the cruisers would have been the real ace in the sleeve. If he'd have brought them round, he might have been able to protect these destroyers from the side and finish off the commander here and now. While Nefarious' Inti's looking ever so slightly outmatched, but destroyers now pumping out for Rock he could do with getting a few more engineers over there. Lots of engineers on this one down here, however, and he should be able to get a good few of those out before he comes under any significant pressure. Nefarious, interesting, still hasn't bothered to make a grab for that island, even though it's right next to his main base. But that's exactly an example of what I was saying earlier. It's just not necessary for him at the moment. He knows he's got the naval advantage, so he's just focusing everything on trying to put as much pressure on this base as possible. Rock now bringing his destroyer across land. It's a ridiculous sentence, but there it is. His main base is looking increasingly filthy, covered with wrecks. It's been absolutely pummeled from the sea, and now it's just getting encircled by T1 subs coming around, and it needs to be careful. I don't know if he can do anything about it, but he's got frigates, he's got destroyers, he's got subs. Nice little combination of units there, and that is probably going to be the end of that shipyard. So nicely spotted there by Nefarious. Still not pumping out any units from there. Let's have a look at how Rock's maths is doing. He's not doing too badly, but you see he's down to 106, so he's lost that early advantage he had. He's actually under-producing mass now compared to Nefarious, even though Nefarious is on fewer islands, and that'll be for all of the higher value mass points that he's had. He's lost, looks like he's lost every single mass point more or less on his main island, so they'll all have been T2s, and that definitely stings. Meanwhile, this this naval factory is still holding in there, and torpedo bombers doing a very nice job of cleaning up that little naval force coming in there. But the main cruiser body is now coming around the side, and that is so many cruisers. It's got like what, 7, 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cruisers. That's so many tacks. There's just nothing you can do about it, and that will probably spell the end of this base down here. So things not looking good for Rock at the moment, but we shall see if he can pull anything out. He's got a few engineers down on this bottom left-hand side island. See if he can snatch these mass points back from Nefarious. Nefarious doing a little bit of bomber harass on this top island, but still not really making any significant play for it. And I can kind of understand he really doesn't need to right now. He knows what position he's got Rock in, and it's you know, expansion. Why risk anything taking your attention away from the assault when you know you've got your opponent on the ropes? Let's see if he has seen the shipyard yet. Yes, he has. It's got pretty good coverage from those cruisers, and Rock saying "lol" again. He can't believe he can't get this navy together to keep these shipyards alive long enough to do so. Losing a lot of engineers. That's a lot of build capacity going out the window there for Rock. Interesting, he's moving his cruisers back. I guess he's concerned about these destroyers. They don't have any brilliant ship-to-ship weaponry. But oh my god, Rock has got himself caught out on the bottom right-hand side by these submarine hunters. Must have missed them there. Of course, they're so fast. And that will be the end of the game. Rock doing well, but it wasn't enough. And very nice technique there early on from Nefarious. And that will mean that Rock goes down into the losers bracket. So you can see here, this is how it stands at the moment. Nefarious advances to play Armageddon, who beat Luzon in the other quarter-final. Luzon then came down here to play Ubergeek, and he won an event against Ubergeek. I believe TA for Life said he was going to cast that. If he hasn't already, do head on over there to check that out. So then Rock will then play Zoc to decide who goes through to play Luzon. And then Luzon will play the loser again of this effectively semi-final, and then that will bring us to the grand final down here. So a few more matches to go. Should be interesting. Stay tuned, guys, and I will see you very soon.